Hi, my name is Beverly Reed Scott, and I'm the founder of the Soul Garden, which is a social and spiritual activism organization. I want to say to the ex-felons, I am so pleased that you are getting engaged politically, and I want to offer you my thoughts about why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the ticket. There are some things that you should know about your civic responsibility as it relates to voting, and then also what happens after you vote. So first of all, we get organized and we organize others, right? We get out there and we make sure our neighbors are voting, our buddies are voting. You explain to your other fellows that have been, and ladies that have been incarcerated but are ready to be a part of making change in our society. Get them fired up and ready to go. And then we go to the polls, we make sure we get our vote in, and then we help in any way possible, assisting others in getting their vote in as well. I want you to think about some things in terms of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the current climate that we find ourselves in, no pun intended with climate change, but also the divisiveness and the fear and the pandemic that has created these circumstances we find ourselves in that are historical. This period of time will be delineated in the history books as one of great change. And so in order for us to be fully engaged in the process, I would love to let you know that once you make your vote, once our candidates are elected, the process does not end. We have a civic responsibility. Our elected officials serve at our behest. Once they are elected, our job isn't done. We have to go to the town hall meetings. We have to write the letters. We have to make sure that the issues that we elected our candidates on, these issues are heard and dealt with once our candidates are elected. Part of civic responsibility is writing letters, is making phone calls, is having petitions signed. We have so much work to do. Our elected officials work for us, and we work for our community, ourselves, our families. So congratulations to you for making the decision to enter society fully. I appreciate you. I admire you. I respect you. But please know that the work isn't done once we elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and at the local and state level as well. We must hold our elected officials accountable, and we should be clear about what our agenda is. If we make it where it serves the largest number of people, and then we all agree to support that agenda no matter what, if our candidate doesn't make the ticket, we are still responsible to the community. And so we have to stay engaged, we have to stay read up, and we have to attend the meetings. You find your place and you devote yourself to it, and you do everything that it takes to see your dream and your vision for our city and our country to come to manifestation. We are the change that we will see. It is our time, and that time is now. So I thank you so much. As the founder of the Soul Garden, I work primarily with women, but we have men come in to support our efforts. Recently gave out 150 plates of food. We do all kinds of counseling and other things. Thank you again for your time. Be well. Be strong.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Ruff. My organization is Black Lives Matter, Women of Faith. Founder Carolyn Ruff, co-founder Dr. Latrice. I'm here to talk about the ex-con and their rights to vote. And number one, you have to be 18 in order to vote. If you're a felon, you can vote. I notice, during Christmas, I register a lot of young men that's still in jail, but they don't have a record, but they're just in there waiting for their trial. So I'm just encouraging them that they could vote as well. I just want to share some things with you that in order to be eligible to vote, you can register to vote. You have to be a United States citizen. You have to be 18 years old, not currently in a state of a federal prison or on parole, but conviction of a felony. Also, you definitely have to be serving a misdemeanor sentence to vote. That means that on probation, mandatory supervision, or post-release community supervision, or federal supervised release, a person with a juvenile adjunction that's awarded to the state that you cannot vote. Persons that with a criminal history who cannot register to vote currently in prison, in the state prison or the federal prison, currently serving state prison felony sentence in a county jail or other correctional facility. Currently in county jail awaiting to be transferred to a state or federal prison. Currently in a county jail for a parole violation. Currently on a parole with Illinois Department Correction and Rehabilitation. So you're able to vote. So I just want to share with people that I've been out at Cook County since Easter to fight for our inmates to make sure that they have the correct PPE equipment for their lives to be saved. 7 inmates have died under Cook County Sheriff Tom Dark, and 500 guards or inmates, 500 inmates had the COVID-19, and 400 guards had the COVID-19. 3 guards have died, and 3 supervisors, I think, have died as well. So I encourage people to please, the next election, please consider not voting for Tom Dark, because he hasn't really done a job that a supervisor that's over the court system is eligible to do. He has been sitting back covering up a whole bunch of stuff that just came out with the COVID-19. He knew about the COVID-19 even before these 7 inmates died, and he did not notify them, or he did not give them their PPE. So I just want people to know that the next election, which is in a year and a half, please consider voting for someone else other than Tom Dark. Again, my name is Carolyn Ruff, Black Lives Matter, Women of Faith, and I thank you very much for hearing me, and let's get out and vote. Thank you. It's very important. Thank you very much.
My name is Lamont Robinson, and I want to thank Zip Sistruck for inviting me here to share my experience, my political experience. I'm not politically astute, and I am not a political speaker, but I do have an opinion about politics. I love politics. I love policy of politics. Politics is everything to me because everything is based on politics, on policy. And so I'm here to represent me as a Republican. I was once a Democrat. I was once independent. So I'm not biased towards any party. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in America. And I believe in everything that America stands for. And so I'm not here to bash the Democrats or the independents. And I believe in unity, working together in a bipartisanship if we can. I respect the office of the presidency. And regardless of who's in it, my whole objective is to get solutions. Who in that office is providing solutions for we the people? And so I am excited about this particular president, President Trump, because he's not an outsider. I mean, he's an outsider and not an insider. He's not part of the institution and the establishment. And I didn't understand these things until I got addicted to politics, actually. And so when I look at politics, I look at it through the lens of the Bible. Because everything that's going on today has been done already when you look at the historical aspect of the Bible. So that helps me from being mad. That helps me from being angry. And that helps me from being offended, regardless of who's in the presidency. So I understand why my president tweets, for example, because he wants to control the narrative. He needs to control the narrative. The narrative is controlled by the media establishment, and that includes newspaper, technology companies such as Google and Twitter, Facebook. They control the narrative. So he utilized Twitter to communicate to me, to us, to the marketplace, and to society in order to get his viewpoint across beyond their viewpoint, which is totally diametrically opposed to the policy that he establishes, regardless of what the policy is. And so when I, during this particular political cycle, I love a leader that say what he means and mean what he says. And I'm not putting any other president down prior to President Donald J. Trump, but the policies that he's implemented was astounding to me, because when you have the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, the NSA of the intelligence community, and you have the news media, and you have the Democrats attacking him 24/7, that is something amazing to be able to produce under that kind of pressure, with investigations and this and that and other. So I am excited about the future, and I'm also excited about the entire political process. Everything that's going on needs to go on in order for serious, deep change in the establishment of our institutions today. America will survive regardless, and I am, and I hope you will vote. There was a time when I didn't vote. There was a time when I attempted to vote. There's a time when I was neutral. I've been to all political parties, and again, I believe in America. God bless America. And again, I don't want to cry come November 3rd. So vote President Donald J. Trump or cry again. I do not want to cry come November 3rd.
Hi, and welcome back to Ex-Cons Can Vote. This fabulous event is put together by Ziff Strunk, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. My name is Beverly Reed Scott, and I am here to have a conversation with a gentleman who I find quite interesting, and I think you will too.
Hey, family, my name is Lamont. Thank you, Beverly. Lamont Robinson from Lamont Robinson Enterprises, and convicts can vote. They have a right to. Get out and vote. It's your right and your privilege. Thank you, Beverly, for that intro. And why don't you kick this off? What's on your mind?
I'll tell you what's on my mind, actually. After listening to your presentation earlier, I was very, very curious and thought that we might be able to have a really interesting conversation. And it would appear that this is a match made somewhere because here I am in my mask and here you are in your cap. So I understand that you're Republican, and I'm curious about how you came, because you had mentioned earlier that you had been Democratic and Independent. So what drew you to the Republican Party?
Well, it was a natural back then. I was a young Democrat. I really have never been active in politics. It was just the job I was working, they were expecting me to be, and I did a little bit of it as a young Democrat, and everyone else was a Democrat, so I was a Democrat. But then I was introduced to an organization that spoke and told a little bit about the Constitution in America and gave me a little history more than I understood then as a young man. And over the years, I kept asking the question, why aren't things being done in our community? Why don't I see any change after the politicians promised this and promised that to get your vote, and I don't see the change? Mm-hmm. And so that question was always in the back of my mind. Just like with religion we were talking about earlier. What about economics? And, outside of the social and domestic issues, I was always focusing on economics, and I like the kingdom message. And I wasn't getting that from the church. And so those two questions on that parallel track between politics and religion was something that was always in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until I stepped back and somehow became a Republican because of the Constitution, and I believe in America and so forth. And here we are.
Okay, I find that interesting because I too believe in the Constitution, and I too love America. And so for me, those 2 points, which make up the foundation of why I do the work I do, mm-hmm. Are across the party line. Mm. So is there anything else about being Republican that you find so potent?
One of the things I found potent was when I did the research for my first book, Promises of Our Circles. And I came across information that gave me, I understood what bureaucracy was and institutions and so forth from a worldly perspective. And because I was working for the federal government, and I seen all that. Okay. And as a result, I'm retired from there now. So when Trump came aboard, he was different.
He was very
different, and he wasn't part of the establishment. He wasn't a part of the bureaucracy, and so he was a businessman that was accustomed to getting things done efficiently.
Okay, getting things done. I would beg to differ on the efficiency of it, but as we are starting to wind down, I'd like to ask if we check with the producer and check with Ziff if we might do another round, because
well, we can keep it short and sweet. Let me give you understanding. Trump got rid of some of the regulations, a lot of the bureaucratic regulations, for example, dealing with this
virus. Hold that one. Sure. And when we come back, we'll find out about these regulations.
Oh, she gave you the two-minute signal?
Yes.
Oh, she did? I didn't see it. Well, I don't wonder.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
I'm wearing this mask for a reason. I wear it, and my candidate wears it. It is not for me about the First Amendment. It is more about my love for my country and the people that feel it. And so my way of taking care of myself and demonstrating my love and respect for my fellow man and woman, I wear the mask. And that's, for me, the politics is about the greatest number of people that can be helped, brought up to a standard, and then we can all move forward from there. But there's so many of us that are just not even at the level playing field. I feel that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can help us bring them up, and then we can talk about economics and so on and so forth from the perspective of the Republican.
And those are the two ideologies that I come to understand between the two parties from back then when I did my research. Republicans are more business oriented because they provided the supplies for the slavery back then, and the Democrats was one that owned the slaves. So when you see those two dynamics, it's carried over. So I can understand.
That's a really great way to wind this up, and I would love to talk to you when the camera's turned off.
Sure. It's been an interesting conversation.
Very
Thank you
much
for those
so.
interesting questions.
I appreciate it.
No doubt. And that's what dialogue is all about.
And that's what we got to do, because ex-felons can vote, and you should too.
No doubt about it. Vote. It's your privilege. It's your right. My name is Lamont Robinson again. Pleasure to meet you all. Pleasure to be here. From Lamont Rob Enterprises, I'm here with
Carolyn, Ruff, Black Lives Matter, Women of Faith.
Convicts Can Vote. It's your right. It's your privilege. Thank you, Zip Sistruck, for inviting us here and putting this production together. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Who are you supporting?
Well, actually, I don't have a candidate at this moment.
You're independent?
I'm not really independent either.
Okay.
But I don't like either candidate. Put it that way.
Okay. You plan on voting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me tell you why I've switched, because I was an independent, I was a Democrat, now I'm a Republican. President Trump, I respect the office of the president regardless of who's part of who's in the office. And what I like about President Trump is he's not part of the establishment. He's not part of bureaucracy. And so he's shaking things up, and that's something different, and I like different. In order to get serious change, you have to make serious change. You have to go against the status quo, and you have to do things that most folks don't understand how to do. But when you find someone that does, and it creates a type of effect where he's attacked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
That was something that really wow, what happened when I got back into politics and put my pulse and see what was happening? That was really strange to me, because I see that Christ was attacked like that as well. And so I see those two parallels. Everything in life I look through from a biblical perspective. And so, there's really nothing new under the sun. I'm not really party favorites. I'm not committed or devoted to a party. I'm more interested in solutions for our black community so we can rise economically. I used to be real focused on social issues and domestic issues, but that's not as important to me as the economic growth and prosperity for our people. And that's what we need today in order to be viable in this economy that we live in.
And do you think Trump is going to provide all of that?
Well,
I don't think so.
Okay, deregulations to get things done so that companies can come back from the NAFTA deal that we eventually just now got out of. And so companies are able to come back, get tax breaks and so forth. So those are things that he's done, but if you're not focused on economics, unfortunately, and that's why I wrote the 2 books, so that we can start educating blacks about looking at things economically. We're not taught to look at things economically. So he's doing that, being a businessman.
Okay.
So 2 minutes?
But
Okay,
that's,
great.
that's not enough for us, as far as the black community is concerned. And Trump has really divided this country, and we need to bring this country back together. He hasn't talked about he hasn't talked about Jacob Blake.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't talked about him getting shot 7 times.
And he won't talk about
And
it.
he won't talk about it.
And I tell you why.
And that means that he don't care about black people.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
That's my opinion,
Sure.
but it might be your opinion, but my opinion that he doesn't care about us.
Understood. And you got the right to believe that in
There's
America.
so many people in our community that's getting killed
By
every day.
black people, you mean?
We don't
Black
know
on
if
black?
they're about black people. We don't know if they're about white people, because they can't seem to find the killer or the killers.
Okay, you talking about,
So
okay.
it could be the police, but they're blaming it on gang members.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we definitely need help here
Trying to
in
wrap it up?
Chicago.
Okay.
And I don't see him doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap it up. Okay, that's it. So that's my opinion about Trump.